So, dear students, we have seen about certain network measurements. Okay. So, in general, we will say it as centrality measures. So, it is in common, we will say centrality measures. So, what are the centrality measures we have seen? Degree we have seen. What is degree? The total number of connections a user do have in the entire graph. Okay, that is called as degree. Okay, so what is in degree? The total number of incoming links. Okay, a node have. Okay, that is called as in degree. What is out degree? The total number of outgoing links that emerges from a node. It is called as out degree. Okay, is it getting recorded? Okay, just getting it. Fine. So what is between a centrality? Given a graph, okay, I have some graph. Okay, so this is going to be the network of users who have been connected. Okay, so now what is betweener centrality? Which node will have the highest betweener centrality? Okay, so betweener centrality is going to be the measure, okay, which can be computed as the ratio of total number of shortest path available in the given network divided by the shortest path that passes through that particular node. Okay, if you look into this particular graph, I'm having some graph like this. Okay, I'm having a graph like this. Okay, so betweener centrality can otherwise identified to be a nodes which are going to act as a bridge to connect two different subgraph of the given graph. So this is going to be the graph G. Okay. So identify which is the which is the edge, okay, or the link, okay, which is going to connect or which is going to get act as a bridge to pass through in order to reach a source node to the destination node. For example, I have a node 1. Okay. So if I have to reach 5, 1 to 5, I have to pass through 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I have to pass through here, or otherwise I can go in this direction also. So find out the shortest path. Obviously, both are going to be the same cost. Okay. If I look into 7 is the node, I have to go to 9. Again, I have to go through this particular node. So obviously, which node, okay, is going to act as a bridge in order to connect two different subgraphs. Subgraphs in the sense, I will say this can be identified to be one subgraph. This can be identified to be another subgraph. Okay. If I have to reach from this subgraph G1 to this subgraph G2, we are obviously not going to divide the graph. Eventually, we are going to um, model this as a assuming it is just an assumption that two different subgraphs can be derived from this given graph G. Okay, so that if I have to reach from G1 to G2, if I have to reach any node from G1 to G2, I have to pass through the vertices 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are the vertices. So this is 3, this is 4 is the vertex. Okay, which are through which I have to reach any node. Okay, I don't have any other path at all. In such a case, this node 3 and 4 will have the highest betweenness centrality. So that is what I have shown you in the last class, how to compute betweenness centrality. Okay, so closeness centrality. Closeness centrality is nothing but how many number of connections, okay, how many number of connections a node, okay, a node is going to have. I will take a node A, okay, from which I can reach maximum number of nodes in the given graph. That is called as closeness centrality. Okay, so if I look into this particular graph, which node is having the highest number of connections? See, 1, 2, 3, 4 is having highest number of connections. Okay, and then 3 is having the highest number of connections, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then obviously even 2 also having number of connections as 3. Okay, so it is not only the in degree, the overall connections, okay, which will be identified to be the closeness centrality. And then eigenvector centrality is nothing but the quality of connection. This is what we have seen in the previous classes as page ranking algorithm. Okay, I do have different network of nodes. Okay, I'm not only going to tell how many degree, how many number of nodes are getting connected, but also I'm going to see what will be the quality of connections. Okay, from this first hop means what? I hope you understood what is hop levels. If I have this is a node A. For A, what is the first hop nodes? Okay, B, C, D are first hop. This is very, very important. Try to recall this. First hop nodes are B, C, and D. What is the second hop connections of A? From the first hop, what are all the nodes which are getting emerged? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so for node A, the first hop connections are B, C, D. For A, the second hop connections are going to be what? From D, G, E, F, G. Okay, but for D, what is the first hop connection? This is G, E, F. So in this way, we have to calculate the quality, not only the quantity of collection, but also the quality of connections. Okay, so this is the very basic metrics that we have seen. Okay, for a given graph. Now for the overall structure of the network, we can find out the density, average degree, sum of the degree divided by number of nodes that we have. Diameter is nothing but the longest shortest path that ever exists between two different nodes in the network, that is diameter. And then geodesic distance, the average number of shortest path that we have in the network is average geodesic distance, and then clustering, and then reciprocity. So it will tell how closely the nodes are getting connected. Okay, so we'll see some of the overall network structures. Okay, I hope we have seen all these things. What is the diameter of the graph? I have told you, right? Diameter of the graph, I have told you, right? The length of the shortest path between the most distant nodes. You see, if we consider this example, which is the most longest distance to nodes, if we look into there, we can say 2. Okay, they have given here itself. Okay, 2 and 7. Okay, you see what was the length of the path that do exist here? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is one path. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is another path. 1, 2. If I go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This way also is available. Okay, but what is the diameter of the graph? I can go in 4 steps. I can again 4 in 4 steps. I can go in 6 steps. But what was the condition here? The length of the shortest path between the most distant nodes. So what is the shortest path among this? This 4 is going to be the shortest path. Okay, the number of steps it takes to reach the node starting from 2 to 7. So what is the diameter of the given graph? It is 4. So what we will do, you will just will derive a Schimble distance. It is nothing but the number of paths that we have. In case if your graph is weighted, this is an unweighted graph. Am I right? If I go for a weighted component, okay, if I'm going to put the weight as 1, 3, okay, this is the weight 1, 3, 7, 7, 5, 2, 1. Like that, if I put the weight over here, okay, if this both the things are going to have 4 steps only, among this, which has the least weight? If this is going to take 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 4, 10. So this it's going to be, the cost is going to be 10. Okay, if I go this way, 7 plus 5, 12, 12 plus 2, 14, 14 plus 1, 15. Among this, which is the least number? Okay, so this will be the shortest path, and I have to take this as the diameter of the graph. Okay, obviously 4 is the diameter. Among this, what is the, for an unweighted graph, there won't be any problem, but for a weighted graph, you compute the number of weighted edges, and you have to sum it up and find out which is the smallest number and find out that as the length of the shortest path. Okay. So now come back to the thing that we have seen in the last class. We have been going in a rush in the last class. I will just give you a glimpse of it once again. Okay. How to find out betweenness centrality. Okay. The reason why I am taking this again is, okay. So this form of you just try to understand this, which will be helpful for your exam point of view as well. Anyhow, okay, as this course, as this particular web mining course is concerned, these concepts are very, very important. Okay, so whether I can compute the betweenness centrality for a edge? No, for an edge you cannot compute the betweenness centrality. You see here, you see this example. We can find the betweenness centrality only for the nodes, not for the edges. But as this betweenness centrality is concerned, it is nothing but a bridge. Am I right? It is nothing but a bridge. Bridge, or otherwise called as, you will say it as gatekeepers. Okay. Only if these gatekeepers are allowing the path to traverse, it can reach its destination. So they are nothing but, in case of social network analysis as concerned, okay, if you are being a friend with some person and there is another person over there, you have some common friends. Unless otherwise these common friends do exist in your real time, you can connect with these with this people G. If you are a person D and you want to connect with person G, and you have you are a friend with C, and this person have a friend with A, so friend of friend. Okay, so G has a straight connection with E. So unless or otherwise these common friends are allowing, okay, if the connection do exist, you can communicate with this friend G. You can reach this person G. So this A and G, the common, it is not a common. In this way, we can say these are the people through whom you can connect this G. Yes, I know C. Yes, C is selling. I know D. So you can connect with A. So A can connect with E. So E is a friend of G. So you can connect. You can get the connection through E. Okay, so the betweenness centrality can be identified, okay, for the vertex, okay, for the vertex, in the sense it is defined as the ratio of the total number of shortest path between node U and W. You consider any two nodes in the network, you can find out the betweenness centrality divided by the total number of shortest path between node U and W that passes through V. Okay, so this is how you have to find out the betweenness centrality for a given vertex. Okay, so now there is a vertex V is there, for which I'm going to find out the betweenness centrality. Okay, so I have to find out U comma W. V is not in our C now. Okay, U comma W of V. That means the shortest path between U and W. Okay, where the vertex node is available in our graph, divided by total number of shortest path that passes through our V. Okay, that is how you have to find out the betweenness centrality. You look over here. I have taken a small example. For C, I have to find out the betweenness centrality. Okay, so you find out all possible connections. Okay, where this C node is going to appear in our graph. Okay, you take A comma B first. Okay, A comma B. What is the path? What is the shortest path it takes? If I have to reach B, I can reach through C, B also, A to C, C to B also. But I have another simple way, A to B straightly. So it is going to be 1. Okay. Then A, you just ignore A to C, because C for C only I'm going to find out the between centrality. So don't consider the C over here, except the destination is going to be C. Take all other combination of destination nodes. Okay, don't take A to C. Instead, take A to D. So A to D. Okay, there is one shortest path. Okay, it has to be 2 actually. Total number of shortest path. Okay, number of shortest path. Okay, number of shortest paths that we have. Okay, so A to B, I have one shortest path is going to be available. A to D. Okay, don't take the steps. Instead, take how many paths are available. Okay, so if there is tie between the path, for example, for the same step 1. Okay, if I do have 2 different paths, with the total number of steps are going to be the same, assume it as only one path. Okay, see here, A to D, I can traverse through this also, 1, 2, C, D, but how many steps it takes? It takes 2 path is going to be, it is going to take 1, 2, this is going to be one path. Okay, so it is going to take 2 steps. If I go for A to D, this is going to be the path. So how many shortest path is there? This is the longest path. How many shortest path is there? Only one shortest path is there. So A to C, C to D. Okay. A to D I have, and in the same way A to E. Okay. So I'm just going to this way. Okay, one path is there. A to F. Okay. I will go to here, one path. So for every other node is going to be the destination. The total number of shortest path between U and W is going to be identified. Since it is a very small graph, we are getting only one value. Okay. Now the next thing is whether this shortest path, okay, whether this shortest path is passing through our vertex C, because C is going to be the vertex of our interest now. Okay. So whether this shortest path A to B is passing through C. Okay, so here in this case, the path is going to be A to B directly. Whether it is passing through C, no, it is not. The shortest path is not passing through C. Okay, A to D. What is our path? A to C, C to D. Am I right? So the shortest path that passes through C is 1, because it is passing through that. Okay, A to E. Okay, so A to C, C to D, D to E. This is going to be the path. Whether it is passing through it, if it's so, if you just put the number of paths that it is having. Okay, A to F. So in this way, A to F, A to C, C to D, D to F. Okay, the path is the shortest path that passes through C. So say it is passing through C. If you look into this example, D to E, whether it is passing through C, no, it is not passing through C. Okay, so it is going to be 0. In the same way, D to F, it is not passing through C. E to F, it is not passing through our C. So it is all 0. Now, this is going to be the numerator. This is going to be the numerator, and this is going to be the denominator. Like that, we have given here. Okay, numerator and the shortest path between U and W, and the shortest path that passes through the vertex of our interest. Okay, the vertex of our interest is C. So you just dividing the numerator and denominator. Okay, and what is the formula actually? Sum of all the value. So what we have to do, you sum up all the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is going to be the betweenness centrality of C. Okay, so in this way you have to compute for every node and find out which 2 adjacent nodes are having the maximum betweenness centrality. Obviously, if I have some value x, I will get some value n1. as betweener centrality. I have N2 as betweener centrality, N3, N4. So like this, you just compute for the betweener centrality for all the nodes. And if we find, and if we sort it over here, N1 and N2 will be having the maximum betweener centrality. Okay. And then the next levels of node, N3, N4, all the nodes will have the next level of betweener centrality. So what we have to infer from this computation of this betweener centrality is the nodes. Okay, here we are they're saying it as a vertex. Okay, the vertex and the links that do appear, that do connect between these vertices will act as a gatekeeper, or as a, in other terms, we will say it as a bridge in order to connect these two subgraphs. Okay, that is the main concept behind this betweener centrality. Okay. So with this, you can find out the betweener centrality. We'll move on to the next type of network metrics. I think we have seen this already. Closeness centrality. Okay, closeness centrality is a measure of how far a node can be selected from the given graph, so that if I start from that node, I will reach maximum number of all other nodes in the network. Such a node will have the highest closeness centrality. Okay, so we'll go for some formal definition. Mean length of all shortest path from one node to all other nodes in the network. Here also you're going to find the shortest path only, but the difference is mean of all the shortest path. Okay, so we will say this closeness, how fast can a given actor reach anyone in the given network. Okay, so I have this particular class, okay, web mining class. I have to find one person in this particular class, okay, so that that particular student can pass some message, okay, like a program representative or the class representative, because he is well connected with all other students in some WhatsApp group or through some mail or some other informal mode of connectivity. Okay, formal mode of connectivity. Okay, so if we have to pass a message to this to the entire students in the class, but the condition is I should not tell to all the 60 students in the class. I have to select only one person, and that one person will have to deliver the message to all your 59 students. Okay, so that class representative will be identified as the person, okay, to whom I can send a message, so that he is well connected with all other 59 students in the classes, and he will forward that particular message which needs to get conveyed. Okay, so that is how a close, because he is reachable, he is well connected with all other people. For example, I am the faculty over here. Okay, I have to find out some person in the graph. See, if I select A, what will happen? Excuse me. If I select A, this A is having only two connections. If I select C, this is having only two connections. But if I select B, total number of students in the class is 5. I have to select one person, so the remaining persons are 4. Whether this B can reach all other 4 students is obviously he can reach, because he have a straight connection, a link that do exist. So I will select B instead of A. Okay, so how to compute the closeness centrality? Okay, so you see here, find out the length of the shortest path between the node I and J. Okay, so that we have to compute length of the shortest path. In the previous example, we have seen the number of shortest path. See here, we have seen the total number of shortest path. We have seen in betweener centrality. In case of closest centrality, find out the length of the shortest path. Okay, so see here, A to A, there is no self loop. You all always remember, in a given this type of network, avoid the self loop, avoid spider trap, avoid dead ends. Okay, you remove those edges and nodes from the given network, and then you start computing any statistical measure. Okay, you see this example, A to A, no, there is no self loop. Okay, A to B. Okay, I can take one step ahead to reach it. A to C. Okay, I can take one step to reach C. A to D. Okay, I have to take two steps, 1, 2. So this is the number of this length of the shortest path. Okay, if there is a shortest path, means one shortest path is this is what our answer is. The length of the shortest path means 2. If I see here, A to C, C to B, B to D, but it is not a shortest path because it is greater than the shortest path. It is the longest to shortest path. Okay, so I'll ignore that. Our concern is only shortest path. A to E. Okay, so it can reach to one, B, B to E. So in this way, you just arrange this matrix. Okay, so what is our formula? The formula of the closeness centrality is n minus 1. So what is n minus 1? 5 minus 1, 4. Because I have to select one person in the network so that all other n minus 1 person has to get connected. It is not mandatory that n minus 1 also has to get connected. For example, if I have 10 people in the connection, if I have to select 1 person and it has to reach all other 9% means at least 7% should have connected. That means at least 70% of the nodes should be connected. Because some 2 or 3 nodes in our network, for example, some people will never be in connection with any class representative or with their peer learning group member. So that is an outlier. So we can ignore that. Okay. So if you look into this example, n minus 1 divided by sum of the total number of length of the shortest path that do exist between I and J. So what is the formula it is giving here? Sum of d of ij. So you sum up all the value, 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. So we will get the sum of the length of the shortest path of the given vertices. We have identified it here. Okay, so now what is the formula? N minus 1 divided by this value. Okay, this is going to be the denominator and the numerator is n minus 1. What is n minus 1? 5 minus 1, 4. Okay, 4 divided by 6. And then 4 divided by 4, 6 divided by 4, 7 divided, 4 divided by 6, 4 divided by 7. 4 divided by 6, 4 divided by 7, 4 divided by 7, 4 divided by 4. Okay, so you identify here which node is having the highest closeness centrality? 1, which means I can choose B. Okay, I can choose B is going to be the person I'm going to choose because he is having the highest closeness centrality in the given network, which means if I select B, he is having the maximum, he is having the reachability. He is a maximum reachability to connect all other nodes in the network. It is not only the number of connections this person have, the length of the shortest path, okay, which can pass through this. Okay, so that is what closeness centrality is. See here, B has the highest closeness for all the given network, whereas D and E, see, this is going to be like a dead end. DE. It doesn't mean that we have to remove this dead end. Okay. Anyhow, they are being connected only with B, but their connection with A is not available. This connection with C is not available. So that is how the closeness centrality can be identified. Okay. And then degree centrality we have already seen. And then eigenvectors, I hope all these things we have seen. Okay. Diameter, I have told you, longest to shortest path. I have told you. So obviously the longest to shortest path can be identified, and then radius, minimum eccentricity of the given set of node. Okay, the minimum path that can exist. So in most of the time the radius will be equals to 1 because in one step we can calculate it, and then we can go for another concept called as clustering coefficient. Okay, clustering coefficient is nothing but identifying how closely a graph is connected, which can be converted into a cluster. Cluster means several groups, like a group, okay, grouping the nodes. It can be done based on the number of connections it have. Usually this clustering coefficient can be applied on a undirected graph. Okay, so the formula for this is 1 by 2 into ki multiplied by ki minus 1. Okay, that is going to be the formula for clustering coefficient. If you look into this example, okay, if you look into this example, we have A, B, C, D is going to be the 4 people in the given, sorry, C, D. Okay, CD is there. Okay, we have this. See, A to B, there is a connection. Okay, A to D, there is a connection. Okay, B to A. Okay, since it is an undirected, we don't want to go back again. B to C, connection. And then C to B, there is a connection. Already there I do exist. D to A, there is a connection. So this is what the given connection in a undirected graph. Okay. So how we can find out the clustering coefficient for this network? Okay. So it is nothing but what is the total number of possible connections that do exist in our given network, so that they can be clustered into, they can be grouped into one to find out that. Okay. So for each network you find out, the first step is you have to identify what is the maximum possibility of connections that can exist in this given matrix. Okay. So for k is equal to 4. So totally we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 nodes in the network. Okay. 1 divided by 2 multiplied by k into k minus 1. This is our formula. So the total number of possible connections this particular matrix can have is 6. Am I right? It can have maximum 6. See, this is going to be not available. 1, 2, only 3 connections are available. Really it is available. This is virtual. It is not available, but there's a possibility is there. So this is how you can find out the total number of connections formula. So given a graph, if they're asking you to find out what is the possible number of connections this particular graph can have, you can make use of this formula. So 6 possible connections is there. Now I have to find out the clustering coefficient for every vertex. Okay, so you see over here for A, what is the number of connections available? 2 connections it have. See this graph, how many connections A have? 2. Okay, so 2 divided by what is the total number of possible number of connections it may have? Okay, see here, it can have 1, 2, 3. Out of 3 connection, it have only 2 connection. Okay, for B you just see it have 2 connection. Okay, out of 3 possible connection. For C, what is the formula? It have only 1 connection out of 3 possible connection. For D, out of 3 possible connection, it have only 1 connection. 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 2. Okay, 1 plus 1, 2. So this is how the clustering coefficient can be identified. So how you can compute the overall clustering coefficient of a given graph? This is for a node. So for the vertices we have identified, what is the overall clustering coefficient of a given graph G? You sum up everything and find out the average of it. Okay, so that you can find out the clustering coefficient of the entire graph. Okay, so this is what we the end of some of the part of your module 4. Okay, and we have another concept called as community discovery in online social networks. So what is the community discovery? It is nothing but identifying some subgraph in the given graph. That is called as a community discovery. Okay. So if we look into these are some basic concept, I will skip it. Okay. So what is a web community? We can identify this type of subgrouping. Okay. Subgrouping. If, for example, if I have some group of people, some 60 students are available in my class who are studying web mining. In the same class, I'm just trying to identify some of the people, okay, who are learning information retrieval. Okay, I'm identifying some. This is not classification. I'm just identifying some subgroup from the given group of people. Some 30 people are studying information retrieval elective. Some 20 students are studying NoSQL as an elective. Okay, and I can find another 10 people who are studying social network analysis as an elective. Okay, so this is how you can identify some subgroup of people based upon some similarity that do have between the users. Okay, so that is called as web community. So we can consciously do it based on human decision. Okay, it can be done over here, or otherwise implicitly we can identify by studying the pattern of their interaction and users of and activities of the users. Okay, among these students, okay, I'm just identifying some people who are interested in IoT. In this way, I'm just saying some criteria based on which I can subgroup the students, those who are in my class. Okay, I can find some people who are interested, who are interested with some vision intelligence, like image processing and image processing and video processing. Is a multimedia detection, like that. I'm just identifying some group of people based on their interaction and their activities. For some students are attending design-a-thon events they are attending. So based on their activities and the interactions that do have in their given network, I'm going to discover the subgroup of people that is called as community discovery. Okay, it is nothing but grouping. Okay, based on their interactions that they have. You look into this example, I'll just go straightly back here. This is the entire graph G. This is my full graph. I'm having a full graph like this. But still, if you look into this graph G, which has vertices and edges, I am identifying certain edges, okay, which do connect some subgroup G1, G2, G3. So these are the students who are interested in IoT. Anyhow, they are in the same class. Okay, this entire class is going to be my web mining class. Okay, still I'm subgrouping some of the people, okay, who are interested in AI. Okay, I'm finding some people who are interested in machine learning. Okay, so you see here, the 6 and 7 is going to be the student, okay, who likes both IoT and artificial intelligence. So they are going to act as a inter-community edge. That means for this group, subgraph G1 and G2, this particular edge is going to be identified as the connecting edge. That means this node will have the highest betweenness centrality. Do you understand? Betweenness centrality will be highest for these vertices 6 and 7. If you look into this example, okay, see here, this will have the highest betweenness centrality. So between the group itself, between the subgroup itself, we can identify intra-community edge. The edge that do exist in the smallest subgraph will also have an edge. That edge is called as intra-community edge. Okay. So with this idea, we have to know a concept called as graph cuts. Okay. So these graph cuts are going to be available in the same graph V and E. Okay, vertices and edges are going to be there. We are going to identify cut is a set of edges, okay, such that the two nodes are unconnected on the graph G dash V comma E minus C, which means we are going to make use of a source node and T is going to be the terminal node, and there is a graph cut edge S comma T which will partition the entire graph. Okay, so it will break the entire connection. You see in this example, I do have some connections in my graph. This is going to be graph G1 and graph G2. I'm identifying some set of nodes. I'm identifying some set of edges which will partition my entire graph. Those are all very sensitive edges. Okay, this will cut the entire graph into two different partition. That is called as graph cut. In other terms, we'll go back here. If I remove this edge, what will happen? G1 and G2 will become divided into two different partition. If I remove this particular edge between 10 and 13, it will divide into G1, G2 and G3. So which is the sets 6, 7 is going to be the set. 10, 13 is going to be another edge set. So this is identified as S, T. So it doesn't mean that only one edge should be there. I'm having another edge here. I'm having another edge here. Let me just create an edge just to give you some clarity. Now what is happening? I have 6, 7, 5, 12. Okay, there is 5, 12 and 6, 12. So these are all the cut edge. Okay, these are all identified as the cut edges. Very sensitive cut edges. Okay, which will partition my graph G1, G2. G1 and G2 will get partitioned. They got the connectivity is lost. I can't reach subgraph from G1 to G2 because all the possible cut edges are being deleted. Okay, that is what the concept of graph cut is. This is a very important concept. It is not only one edge. There is no such condition like that. There can be several edges can be there. So that is nothing but cut edge sets. Okay, this is one set, this is two sets, this is three sets. Okay, so that is called as cut edges. So I think with this we will wind up for now. Okay, so we will continue this in our Monday class. Okay, I will stop recording. Okay, dear students, just type in